Did
I'll
you try those little grind? You see those grinds pouches now? It's like coffee Zin.
What I do is I'll put a coffee Zin in and drink my coffee.
Oh, dude.
You're ready for the
double
day.
dosing.
You're
son.
ready for the day.
Dude, that's like a step below meth, I think. So you're in a good place with that. Stick to that.
Right.
Like, let's not graduate past coffee Zin and coffee.
You never methed around.
Hey, once in a while, dude. I'll say when you used to make 135, it used to look a little methy on weigh-in day.
So I was at cutting weight at Planet Fitness. I was just running and stuff, and I go to Gabe's in Monroeville to get workout clothes.
Nice.
And there's this like shady car sitting in the parking lot, and I pull up next to it and I get out, and they ask me if I want any drugs. I like was offended because I was all sucked out and stuff, and I called my mom right after as I'm walking into Gabe's, and I'm like, Mom, this dude thought I was a crackhead.
Oh, for sure.
I was
1,000,000%.
I was so mad.
And also selling drugs in a Gabe's parking lot. Like these aren't good, high quality drugs, man. You don't know what you're getting out of Gabe's.
Right.
That's
It's
awesome.
probably discounted like Gabe's is.
Just laced with all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Got some stains on it, but it's fine.
Right.
Last year's model.
Yeah,
Dude,
right.
Gabe's is kind of awesome. Let's be honest.
I like
the
the
prices. Yeah, dude.
I like Ross. I'm a Ross.
I've never been to a Ross.
Yeah, you gotta.
Where's that even at? Where do you go? I've seen them, but like I can't.
There's one
place
in
them.
Pittsburgh Mills. That's where I go.
How close? How far are you from that?
Like 20 minutes. It's like right by the Map Factory.
Yeah. I always forget you're that close because like I've delivered tickets to you guys' house and like it's right in Penn Hills, obviously, but it doesn't seem like it's that close to the Map Factory to me. Like I can't wrap my head around that being that close. I don't know
like
why.
20 minutes, you know. I live like 20 minutes for class.
Oh, like back roads and stuff.
Yeah. And then you know where we're at, like the main road, right? In Penn Hills.
Yeah.
We got like how many chickens?
10.
We got 10 chickens
10?
in the backyard, bro. My backyard's not that big.
How are you even
You're
doing that?
You're only supposed to have 4, and they try to come by and like try to say something. We just don't answer. The
Township trying to police your chickens,
right?
How are they going to police that?
Can't take our chickens.
Don't take my chickens.
Right.
Did you guys have a duck last time you were on the podcast?
We had 2.
We had 3 of them.
Yeah, we gave them to her mom because just a better lifestyle. Her mom has a pond and stuff.
Oh,
and
nice.
They love it, dude.
Oh yeah. So now they're just living. Did you guys? This may be a dumb question, but did you get eggs from the ducks or anything? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, they were.
Did you eat them?
Yeah, they were good.
Sick.
Yeah, you're supposed to bake with them and stuff, but I would eat them. There's more protein.
How much bigger than a chicken egg are we talking?
Huge.
Like
probably like 2 of them.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, huge.
Nice.
It was so good.
But you're fueled up on straight up free range, cage free chicken eggs now all the time, I assume, right?
Yeah. They lay like 1 a day usually.
Oh, that's it.
So yeah. But we got 10 of them now. The 6 new ones aren't laying yet, and we have 1 rooster who's like, he's beautiful. I'm about to get rid of him because you can't have them.
Yeah.
In Penn Hills because they crow all out.
Oh, that makes
sense. I take it to this farm by my mom's house, and I'm like asking him, my other rooster, I dropped it off. I'm asking him like, so are you gonna like keep this rooster? Is it gonna protect your chickens? What's it gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. And I'm like, I got kind of sad at first. He's like, someone's gonna come by, they're gonna buy this rooster for $25 and they're gonna eat it.
Oh my
And it was
God.
like I was holding my rooster and it was like beautiful.
No.
And I'm like,
no.
All right, I guess it is what it is. Because otherwise I was gonna have to kill it and eat it, you know.
Right.
So
well, I mean, your walkout song is the rooster. Do you think about that guy now every time you walk out? Or you just like thinking about
this is
your
for you,
sadness?
buddy.
This is for you, bro.
This is for you,
What was
buddy.
his name? Did he have a name?
No.
Do you name chickens?
No, they get all.
None of them. Yeah.
Even though
You get
we
too
probably
mixed up.
could with the
new
6 other ones because they
Mm-hmm.
look all different.
Yeah.
We have 4 that are Red Rock or something. Red
Yeah.
something, and they all look the same.
Okay.
But the 6 we got was from Lindsay from the math factory.
Oh,
'Cause she's
okay.
a school teacher.
Sweet.
She hatched them, and Carly took them. She's like, "Yeah, we can."
That's
have 'em."
dude. I mean,
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah.
I would want chickens for
Yeah.
sure. And you guys got me wanting to look into this. I'm not gonna lie.
Should.
Dude, it's worth it. It's fun.
The beauty, like having those, and they're so much better than
yeah,
store eggs.
and
too.
it's cool. I like to come out in the morning. I'll feed them, and I'll put some food in my hand. They'll eat it out of my hand.
nice.
It's sweet.
Are they super aggressive sometimes? I've always heard about
They
chickens
eat-
getting wild.
They eat like anything.
Yeah,
They'll eat anything.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
That's great. Dude, well, we could talk about chickens the whole time, and I'm pretty much down for that. But there's something else going on for Justin the General Patton, which, by the way, anybody joining the podcast, if you don't know these two, Justin Patton, Carly Joe Thomas, 2 of Pittsburgh's best fighters, the power couple. as they're being called now. I think I might be the only one that says that, but
Chris does
we're
too.
going with it. All right, Chris goes with it. Sick. But yeah, Justin's got a fight, easily the biggest fight of your career, dude, coming up September 21st. And for some backstory, I think people like this. Obviously, you guys don't mind sharing some details like this, but Chris, after your last fight, the plan was like get you maybe an easier fight because you've been on a wicked pace lately, fighting a lot and fighting really high caliber opponents a lot. So we were kind of looking for maybe a little more of a softball type. This is not that. How did we wind up with literally after Ethan Goss, who you train with all the time, you're friends with, our featherweight champ? He's the number 2 ranked featherweight in Pennsylvania, Ryan Cafaro. So how did it go from let's get an easy one to let's take the hardest fight possible?
Well, when I signed Tobias Taylor, he was number 1 in Ohio, right? So I actually texted Lucas Siebert. This is a side story. I texted Lucas Siebert when we were going to Geneva after my fight with Tobias and sent him a thing of Ohio's entering Ohio. I said, I'm now the king of Ohio.
Nice.
So
nice.
I think when you guys posted maybe my highlights of that fight, Ryan Cafaro commented on it and said he wanted to share the cage. We were respectful, like, I appreciate that. That he'd like to share the cage with the general and this and that. And I'm his Huckleberry, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna turn down a fight.
Yeah.
And he's good. And I think it's a good test for me, show where I'm at and really stake my claim, because I know that I belong now. So
yeah,
just show everyone.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I mean, the matchup speaks for itself. I think you're number 7 on Tapology now, something like that in PA. So I mean, you've firmly entered the top 10 as well with this run. I think the last time we talked, your career was in a very different place. Not that it wasn't promising at that time, but dude, the run you're on right now has definitely catapulted you to a different level. So what kind of changed since? We'll just start with maybe the Olave fight, or do you feel like it was one before that?
Kind of my Kyle Zimmick fight. I lost that fight, but I was giving him all the work I could, It's one of the fights that I lost, but I didn't come out there bleeding, you know what I mean? My face wasn't messed up. I just got caught at the end with a bad scramble, and it kind of showed me that I just need to stay mentally there the whole time. And just the belief I have, every day I wake up and thank God it's a gift that I get to do this, and the gratitude just pays for itself. And her, she keeps me on point, it keeps me disciplined, gives me tough rounds for real.
Who's tougher on you, Karli Joe or Isaac when he's coaching? Karli Joe on a daily basis or Coach Isaac?
It's a little bit of both, they go head and head. I'll tell you what.
We're like a team.
Yeah, it's
like make Justin's life suck as much as possible.
Just ganging up on Justin.
I swear.
Keep it. Something's working though, dude. I mean, needless to say, like since that Olave fight, I think everybody saw it was kind of evident in your performance that something clicked. Obviously, you've been working super close with Chris Williams for a long time now. What's his perspective been like as you keep taking these leaps up and up and up? Because let's be real, like the goal for you is to leave 247 and go somewhere bigger and better. And that path is certainly being laid. So how's Chris kind of helped on that level?
Chris always, dude, ever since I was an amateur, he would always talk about me being in the UFC or being in a bigger promotion. And he'd say it like, well, yeah, when you're in the UFC. And I would like look at him like, you really think so? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really believe in myself at that time. And he always did, you know what I mean? And he always seen it and always knew that I was willing to do whatever it takes. And just his confidence and overall, like he believes honestly that I can beat majority of people, if not everyone,
That's awesome.
And just his confidence in me, helps me perform.
For sure. I think like the start of your pro career was obviously not super ideal. Like trade a win, trade a loss. You know
Definitely
what I mean? Not how you're looking to start off. It wasn't like a Bo Nickel type career. It was like, okay, this guy's obviously like getting fast tracked to the UFC. So how do you keep that belief through that? Like at a certain point, you had to be looking at like, dude, something's got to change or this isn't going anywhere.
I started wrestling. Basically,
that easy.
Yeah, wrestling is the hardest thing in the world. Striking is easy. I like striking. I like wrestling too. Don't get me wrong. I love wrestling, but striking is easy. You can control the pace, but wrestling you gotta go and you gotta show urgency. And like with striking, I can take a little lap and take a break and walk them into stuff. But wrestling, it changes the game. It controls where the fight takes place at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that Tuesday wrestling classes at the Mat Factory are no joke. Like it's known that if you want to fight, you go there, you wrestle, and it'll show what you're worth.
Yeah. Is this because I've noticed for sure in your last several fights, and actually I was at the Mat Factory. I forget why I was there, maybe delivering an award or something before your last fight. And it was like you, Cody Gamble, Kaiser, and maybe Jordan Oliver was the other guy there. And dude, your cardio throughout that session, I've never seen you look that fresh. Like the whole time you look like you were not even tired. Is that from wrestling as well, you think, the cardio improvement?
Yeah, from wrestling, and I have a secret at the Mat Factory, the VersaClimber.
Oh,
I think we talked about this
Secret
before.
Yeah, I think so.
But the VersaClimber, Kaiser got me on a Tom Kaiser got me on a conditioning thing with sprints on the Versa. You get a minute break, you do it again, do it 5 times, and then I have a heart rate monitor on the whole time. You're getting your heart rate as high as you can, and then you're supposed to take a 5-minute break and do it again 2 more times. But I started to get my heart rate so low that as soon as it gets back to normal, we go again.
Oh man!
So you shorten the break.
Yeah,
so because you know your body, you can get yourself to fire faster. And dude, that's the secret. Like and like it helps you not even so much as like getting super tired, but it's mentally. Like
I was gonna say,
I know I'm so tired, but I can keep going.
You step off that thing at any point if you want to just give up.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And she started doing it with me too. And then you try to like, I like the VersaClimber for it because like sprints are good, but I like the VersaClimber for it because it gives you a number of feet you go. So you try to keep that same pace the whole time. Dude. So that way you can know that you're performing at the same rate the entire time. You know,
that's crazy. So who has the record on it now?
Me. Come on.
Oh, you still got it.
I actually
didn't Lucas Jones try to sabotage you somehow with it?
He hit the battery.
There we go. Yeah.
He hit the battery. He didn't, but he definitely did.
He definitely did, bro. We know Lucas sneaky like that.
Right. But yeah, I'm just trying to get better and better every time, you know. Now granted, like that doesn't make me a better fighter, but it's a little push for you mentally to like edge yourself out, you know.
What does it add the confidence too? Like when this fight goes into deep water, like I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, exactly.
Gotta be. Yeah. Karli Joe, you've had a really unique kind of front row ticket to his recent run. Like from your perspective, what's been different about his approach? Maybe not even in the training room, but just everyday life, right? Like, can you tell a difference in just how he's carrying himself overall?
Oh yeah. I tell him all the time, like he's a
Stay up on the mic, sorry. Just swirling.
Say he's definitely literally like a different person than he was like 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, really the biggest changes I seen is like when he started going to the Mat Factory and like doing Bible studies and stuff like that. Is like when I really started to see like the change, not just like in the gym and everything, but like just in life, in a relationship, and just way he treats people. I mean, he's always treated people good, but just like everything is just like better. He thinks about what he says, what he's doing, his actions and everything. So I think just implementing that is just like kind of like going full circle into like his whole like life in general, career and everything. So
yeah. And as much as we talk about the run, which is definitely amazing, dude, these have not been easy fights for you. You know, they've been back and forth. The Justice one in particular was, like we said, from the jump, it's one of the best fights ever in 247. Probably going to win fight of the year if I had to guess.
Better.
Yeah. And for you though, like I love watching your reactions to his fights because I swear they're harder on you than they are on him. Like what's it like watching him? We'll just take the Justice fight. What's that like?
It's like it's stressful, but it's also like I believe in him and I know he can do it. You know, I get to see what he does every day, see the work he puts in the gym, how he approaches everything outside of the gym, just like his diet and sleep and like hydration, just recovery, like everything. So like I know he can do it. Like I know like he's prepared, but at the end of the day, it's still like so like my emotions are everywhere. And I think because like I understand what's happening, but also it's like, you know, anything can happen. So you know, you can catch that one wrong punch and it can be it. But
well, that's what we were talking before the podcast. You were saying like you like having an opponent that scares you a little bit.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes. Because if you have not a bum, like I don't like those. If you're getting in the cage,
there's not many bums at pro like your experience level. Everybody's dangerous.
But if you get someone a little bit softer, easier, you have a chance to take it easy during fight camp, and you don't have that worry that I might get knocked out in front of my mom. I might get knocked out in front of Karli. You know what I mean? Cam might see me hurt, you know, and that's not something that I want my mom to see. My mom does, you know, and that's one of those things. Like I told her, like I'll get hurt. I might get hurt, but I will not get beat to crap in there. Like that's not. I'll die before that happens. You know what I mean?
I remember you saying after the Husties fight, you thought your mom was doubting you or something.
Yeah,
what was that?
So I walked out and I gave her a hug and she's crying, and I talk about it after, and she's like, I held it together all week because she gets real emotional.
I can't even imagine.
And she's like, I held it together all week, but I don't know, it just came out right there. And I was like, you thought that dude was gonna beat me? Like you thought this dude had me.
That's awesome, dude. I can't like the emotions going into that as a mom. It's got to be harder on mom than anybody, right?
Oh yeah, all my friends that are like sit by her during the fights, she's like covering, like hiding behind them and stuff. It's so funny, but it's funny to me. It's probably so
it's probably not super fun for her.
It's probably so stressful for her.
But the exhilaration of winning a fight, I mean, we've seen it with anybody, like any win on any level, how much that means to you guys. What's that feeling like after you put in all that work and then finally pays off like that?
I like to go see my people afterwards, you know, and give my mom a hug, let her know I'm cool. See Karli, give Karli a hug, let her know I'm cool. And it feels like I did it for them, you know what I mean? I'm not doing this for myself, you know. This is not to glorify me, you know what I mean? It's to provide for my family and glorify God.
Oh yeah. Karli, Joe, you got your own very promising career going on. We've been trying to match you for a long time, which is probably the most frustrating. I would say you and Britt Bickert are the hardest people to match that we've ever had. So that's fun. That's a good time for everybody.
Yeah.
We had somebody agree and then immediately pull out, which was not awesome either. So there's that. But what's going on with your career right now? Like, what's your status? When are you thinking going pro has got to be around the corner here at some point?
Yeah. So my thought, which it doesn't really seem like it's going as planned, which is fine. But I was hoping to fight one more time before like I kind of get in a full swing of like wrestling season coming up, because that'll start in October. Have my last amateur fight this year, have that be my last amateur fight, and then like sometime late spring, early summer after the season like settles down a little bit, turn pro. That might still happen. I'm not real sure. You know, maybe we'll get a fight before the year's up, maybe not. If not, might still just go pro next year. I'm not 100% like, you know, certain yet. Just kind of see how things work out. Whatever fight makes sense, whatever opportunity comes. So that's kind of like what we're thinking at the moment.
Nice. So amateur obviously is a time to kind of work out some kinks, figure out what you need to work on. When you look at your game, what are the things that you still feel like you need to prove?
Yeah. I think a little bit like in the striking department, but not so much that like I'm not comfortable there. I just want to like experience that in a cage. Like, you know, I'm doing all the right things outside of the gym, sparring with the right people, you know, working with Chris, working with Justin a lot. You know, so, you know, I think it's definitely coming along and it's what I want, but I want to display that in the cage and have like a good, well-rounded fight. Like we kind of can do this anywhere. It all flows together. It makes sense. Like, you know, sometimes people are like real good at striking, but if they decide they want to shoot, they're like from their striking to their shot entries, like not real clean. Like I want like all of that to kind of like, you know, be good, but maybe that's too good to be true too, you know?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, that's always the goal. And that's one thing that I think is always appealing about MMA, even at the highest level. You can always get better at something. It's like golf to me. You're never going to completely master golf. Like Tiger Woods at his absolute best still messed up a lot. You could do better always. So I'm sure that's appealing for you guys too, being where you are. You got the Dempseys and Isaacs of the world pushing you towards that absolute perfection.
Yeah.
So what is that process like at the gym in terms of like understanding you're making gains and you're improving, but there's still work to be done, right? How do you balance that of like being complimentary and appreciative of what you've done and still understanding that there's so much farther to go?
You just gotta not be content, you know what I mean? Constantly learning. Once you stop learning, you're dead in the water, you know what I mean? And I'm always trying to learn new things. I learn stuff all the time that like Isaac teaches me, or Matt teaches me, or Dempsey teaches me, or even Chris teaches me with striking. But I'm like, how did I not know this? Like, how did I go through my whole? I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and I don't understand that. I didn't know this. No one ever told me this. Like, what was that sweep that Isaac just showed? I can't remember, but I can do it. He just showed a sweep on Wednesday. Then I'm like, John Wayne sweep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I never. It's simple and it gets people off balance and it helps you for your stand up. And I never in my life have seen it. And I'm like, sick. It's simple. It's super simple. Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't remember that. But he showed it and I'm like, dude, I've never learned that. Like that's crazy. But it's stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. You're never done learning. And once you think you are, you just stop growing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing.
I'm laughing. Will Moriarty in the chat just said, when I see these two walk into sparring, I just pack my bag up. Time to leave.
I sparred with him the other day and it was good. It was a good round. And he had me against the cage and Will kept telling him stuff to take it down. I look up at Will and I'm like, that's not going to work. So I get him off the cage and I push into him all hard. And he surprised the crap out of me. He lat drops me. And I'm like, I did not see that. I did not see that coming at all. Nice. I got up and I was like, that was good. Slick. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I tried to hammer him with something afterwards.
You got to get him back after something like that, right? Can't let him have that.
Yeah, it just embarrassed me in front of everyone.
you know Justin Steve, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
sure. Yeah. So I've wanted Will to get a fight for us forever, and it's just never worked out. But Steve back in the day, dude, was so fun to watch fight. Like such an exciting fighter. Were you at the academy the same time as him?
Yeah, he was. I was kind of newer. Okay. I went with him a couple times, but his boxing is so slick.
Dude, I know. Yeah, his stand-up was insane.
Yeah, hands are so fast. I mean, anytime I went with him, he just beat the crap out of me. I was a young kid. I was more of a punching bag there when I first started.
That was kind of your reputation starting out, right?
Yeah. It's like, let's
beat up this young kid.
Yeah, let's see how tough this kid is, you know?
And too tough for your own good, so you'd keep coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, perfect, though. Look where it led you.
Yeah, right.
So it's an interesting discussion, I think, because so many young kids don't want to take damage or really spar hard early on, and there's a lot of research both ways. But, like, how do you personally see it? Well, if you were a young 18-year-old kid that said, I want to make a career in MMA, how would you treat sparring?
You got to spar hard. Me and Shaka, you have to. Me and Shaka would meet at 6 a.m. multiple days a week and just spar like 5 to 10 rounds and just beat the crap out of each other.
Better than coffee to wake you up.
Yeah, dude, I would teach a women's class at like 5 to 6. And sometimes I would go take a nap afterwards if no one, like, because I would teach a class at 9. So I would be there sleeping in the cage, and all of a sudden Shock would open the door and I'm like, oh, here we go. And then we would just go at it. But it's like, that's how you know that you're built for this, you know, and you have to. Now, later in the career, you don't need to do all that. As you get older, as I get older, you need a couple hard sparring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, me and Shaka still go at it to this day. Like it's been a dance we've been doing for 10 plus years, just trying to beat the crap out of each other.
That's awesome.
But
you said something super important there, because I think a lot of kids here, Max Holloway doesn't spar anymore. Like he's probably the most famous example, but like he sparred his whole life. That's why he can do that now. So exactly. I think, like, obviously don't take advice from me on fighting, but when I hear it, it's like, okay, you have to have it and then you can go without it. But if you just never do it, you're going to be
you got to put the time in first, and then you can take it, you know, take the your foot off the gas a little bit.
For sure.
But you got to put in that work, and you got to see if you can take a shot for real. And all these dudes are like, I hear people talk all the time about concussions. Now, concussions are no joke.
Yeah.
But there was plenty of times where I got crushed sparring, and 2 days later I was sparring again. Like, I'm not saying that's good for your brain, but I'm saying, like, you got to do that, dude. Like, it's, you know.
Do you get more nervous the older you get about that kind of stuff, or no?
No, I don't. No, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
It's part of the game, right?
Yeah, exactly. If you get hurt, it's part. We could crash our car coming here. You know what I mean?
True. That's super true.
Yeah. So accidents happen. So it's part of the game.
Dude, we're lining up a fight right now. We got Chico in the chat. He said Justin and Karli are the best teammates, fighters, and coaches. Karli is for sure the harder round, though.
No, I'm not doubting that at all. I told you about this week. We were doing situationals, and I let her start on my back. And you give her an inch, she takes a mile. And she had my full face wrapped, and I'm just sitting there gargling, not tapping. I would have went out before I tapped. Let me tell you, I had to like tell myself to breathe through my nose because I couldn't like breathe. And I'd stop breathing for a second. I'd be like, okay, you can breathe.
You can
through your
breathe.
nose. Yeah.
What would you have done if you literally choked him out, Karli? Would you have felt proud? Like, would you be like, hell yeah, I got that
It'd
on
be
him?
like both. Like I would have felt bad, but also like, you know, you kind of.
Would you tease him about it like all week, forever?
For the rest of his life.
I would never hear the end of it.
Yeah,
Are you
never,
kidding me?
Never.
Oh,
I was telling
man.
Luke Paysons on the interview, it's not I didn't tap out, so it's not a submission. She didn't get that.
No, that's some like Chael Sonnen logic there. Like when he's, I thought tapping out just ended the round. I didn't know I lost the fight.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I like that, dude. That's awesome. But for both of you, obviously, it's a super unique dynamic in Pittsburgh, right? Like you guys are dating, obviously, and being a part of each other's camps and lives from start to finish. It's got to be like a super struggle at sometimes. Like how do you guys balance when it's training camp mood? Like your mood sucks on fight week. Like let's be honest, we've all seen fighters get super grumpy on fight week. How do you balance that extra stress of also like the relationship aspect on top of that?
It kind of taught me to like control my anger a little more and just not every problem needs to be voiced. I sometimes just keep it in. It's all right. You know, it's not that big of a deal. Because later you forgot about it and you realize later, like, wow, I was being a jagoff. You know what I mean? But I just, you know, sometimes it's not that serious. You don't need to like scream about it or nothing. It's funny. We were she knows what I'm about to say. So we were at what were we, wrestling or did we go sparring?
I don't remember.
We either wrestling or sparring. So it was a hard night. I was sparring with Nick Brown or we were wrestling, right? And we come home and the dishwasher is full of dishes, sink's full of dishes. The dishwasher wasn't run.
Oh no.
And I come home and we start giving her stuff about it. And I'm like, you know what? Why didn't you do well, you were home all day. And then she starts talking. Well, you don't do this. I'm like, you know what, Karli, you're right. No, you're right, Karli. You're right. And she's filling up the dog's water bowl as she's doing this. You're right. You're right. And she splashes the dog's water bowl on me. I literally just stop talking, go up and I take a shower. I come downstairs, eat my food, and I go to bed. I felt like a grounded kid. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah.
That's it.
We wake up the next day and it was fine. Like, you know what I mean? We laughed about it.
But
it's like, you got to like control your.
It's healthy. Yeah. That seems healthy.
Yeah.
Using the dog's water bowl is the next level flex, though, I got to say.
Dude, it was so much water. I was just.
I filled it all the way up, and it just.
Oh man!
I was like, yeah, I'm just.
Well, before that, and the reason I did the water is because before that, we had a bucket sit on the ground with water in it because we have a leak in our ceiling, and he kicked it across the kitchen floor, and yeah, so it was just like made sense.
That's
I'm
how
like,
you
and I cleaned that up already, and I'm like, you know what?
Here's some more water for you, bro.
I just cleaned the whole
went to bed
out.
like I was a little kid.
Just took a shower and went to bed.
Like I'm grounded.
Just literally packed it up and left. Oh, that's beautiful. But that, like, at the same time, I feel like it's got to be super valuable for you both because it's who understands a fighter's struggle better than a fighter. Like you guys always can relate. Like you know exactly what he's feeling on fight week and vice versa. So how much does that like level of support matter?
Oh, a ton because just the mental side of it. Everyone's like, are you ready? Are you this and that? And we both know we're ready. You know what I mean? So anytime you need to like confide or talk to someone about something, she's right here. And I just, you know, we kind of vent to each other sometimes about training, what went good, what went bad. Because we drive together most of the time. So, you know, and we'll talk about troubles we had and she'll talk about sometimes combinations that worked, didn't work. I'll talk to her about situations that worked, that didn't work. And it's just good to bounce ideas off each other and kind of like consoling each other. You know what I mean?
Do you have a hard time shutting that off? Is it necessary to shut off fighting once in a while? Like, how do you balance that? Just becoming completely every conversation's about fighting or training, you know?
After fights, we try not to talk about it too much. Yeah. Because it gets to a point where you're like sitting here watching your fight again. And you're talking about it. And that's why we went on vacation right after my last fight. And I was like, I just don't want to talk about it anymore.
Which was hard because I was in fight camp.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like it was literally like 3 weeks before.
So I was
I forgot about that.
I was eating all this food, drinking and stuff. I held pads for a couple times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once.
But I was just once. Hey, it was the best pad session.
It was good.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong.
You make that one count.
Yeah.
Wait,
exactly.
I mean,
yeah, right. What more do you need? But it is hard sometimes, like
Yeah.
when I'm cutting and she's not, you know, because she's been eating ice cream a lot lately,
Ice cream.
and I love ice cream.
Boy, you
So-
guys and Ryan can all talk about ice cream. He's like addicted to ice cream too.
It's excellent.
Is
Is that the hardest thing to cut out for fight camp?
Really, honestly, like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I mean, I really like sweets in general.
and she's
So
like, can we get a snack? And I'm like, I'm cutting weight. We can't
I
get a
like
can't
snack.
have a
cookies
snack.
and like
Yeah.
ice cream. So yeah, I'm a big Halo Top fan though. Like when
So that's good though.
when I
At
have
least,
to
yeah,
be like
yeah.
better-ish. Yeah,
It's just expensive.
it's so
It's so
expensive.
expensive,
It's
but
like $7 for like a little thing, and I can get a
you
whole.
can eat the whole thing at once for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good time to be alive though on that front. There's a lot of like keto ice cream and low
Yeah.
carb ice cream that's really not that bad. It's
Yeah.
not as good as the real thing though. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. You
no.
can tell. It's the
Yeah.
texture's not the same.
No,
Yeah.
it's like icy.
It's like crumbly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What's up with that? But no, dude, that's great. I love that you guys have that kind of shared ability to know exactly what you
Yeah.
each are going through, and that support system obviously got to be huge. And Carly, I want to talk about, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but I want to dig into more of this new phase of your life with being with wrestling coaching. I mean, how big of a change is that for your everyday?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like even like today, like, well, I guess on a Friday, because my old job I was off on Fridays, but like just to think like most people, like I should like actually be at like a job right now, right? But like I get to work from, use my phone a lot and like computer, so I can do a lot of stuff from home and like on my own time, which allows me to like pretty much like pick my schedule, like train when I want. So that's been a super big change. It's weird.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm like at home, like on the couch, just like doing like work, but I'm like working, but I'm like at home, and it like feels like not like work,
Mhm.
which I guess is like a blessing. It's like a dream come true, really.
For sure.
So
For sure.
yeah.
How good.
I was gonna say it's just definitely a big change.
Yeah. Does it make you think about wrestling differently? Because I've always heard people, when they coach something, they actually get better at that thing as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, definitely. It's for sure helped my wrestling, helped my grappling, but also helped me like change kind of the way I approach training and stuff too. Just like being a coach and like seeing how people like drill and train and practice and stuff, like focusing during practice and why those like little details matter. Cause like, you explain something to somebody and they, you give them 8 steps and they skip 4 of them. And it's like, I see it as a coach now. I'm like, man, those like 4 steps like actually matter. Like they actually matter to get from like point A to B, point B. So, yeah, it's been definitely a big like change in my training and just like even how I approach like fight camp and stuff like that. Just being like more focused like all the time, just with everything.
Sure. But the opportunity too, as a woman, I mean, I saw Maya just got hired as I think North Allegheny's wrestling coach.
Yep.
And just seeing that scene in general blossom and you kind of being the first one that got announced of Waynesburg, what's that feel like for you being able to represent female combat sports in that way?
It's like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I mean, like, especially to being like, it's like I'm obviously like a male dominant sport. So to be able to like be a woman and young at that and like be able to coach these girls and like, help them like chase their dreams and make their dreams a reality is like, it's just super empowering, and it makes me more excited about my goals, their goals, these little girls that are like 6, 7, 8 years old, knowing they're going to be able to watch these girls in college wrestle now and be like, man, I want to do that. And they're going to do it because they actually have these opportunities now. You see it in high schools now. Pretty soon it's going to be, like junior high girls are going to be able to have their own wrestling teams. And I even know of like some clubs that are like have all girls like teams and stuff like that. So just seeing all of that happen is like knowing that these tiny little girls can like, do something like this and, have a safe place to do it is like, it's incredible.
That is awesome. I'm going to show my kind of ignorance here with the whole process, but like, do you have to recruit as well? Is that going to be part of what you have to do now?
Part. Yeah. It's probably like, that's mostly what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Like just, that's why I'm always on the phone, always like on the computer, like
awesome.
Instagram, social media helps a ton, but yeah, just talking to a bunch of different girls like all the time. That's probably the most important part of my job.
Have you met your athlete? Like, do you know the girls you're going to be coaching already?
Yeah. So there's 9 girls on our team for this year. And I've met all of them except 2. So yeah, I mean, I have a pretty good relationship with most of them. Not all of them, like we don't talk all the time, but for the most part, I communicate with them all the time, build those relationships. I know like Isabella, Melanie, they came to my Fort Cherry clinic. That's where they went to high school at. So like I got to like coach them even already a little bit and just like hang out with them in the room and stuff. So they're at school right now with another girl, and her name's Jakaya Matthews. So they're all three like they actually just texted me today and was like, we want to go in the wrestling room and like practice and like start, and they're all getting together and like doing it. So like it's just kind of seeing things starting to like, you know, like college is kind of coming in session and stuff. So that they're kind of getting like more in a full effect of things with the season coming up. It's just like, I'm really excited.
It's so cool. I love too the mentors you have. I mean, to rely on coach wise with Isaac Demps, and I'm sure Nick Brown's helping you as well. Like, what's it like being able to pick their brains just in terms of being a coach?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a blessing because it's something that was still a little bit new to me. Like I did coach for high school last year. And I mean, it's definitely like similar, but just being able to like talk to them and, you know, like even like Isaac wrestled in college, Nick wrestled in college for a little bit, just even knowing like kind of how that works. It's different than high school. It's, you know, things are more important. It matters more, I guess, in a way, you know, at that college level. So just having like people like that to like lean on and like know they believe in me and encourage me really helps just with everything. And just, you know, like even like the way like kind of just trying to follow in their footsteps. Like, you know, like Isaac and Nick are people like I would like a coach. I want to be like that as a coach. Right. So that just having that is just what I need really to, I think, be successful with it. So
that's awesome. What's it like for you, Pat, seeing her take that? It's a totally new career direction. That is like an awesome place to be. Like, how proud were you when that offer came across?
She's a breadwinner now. You know what I mean? I started my rap career.
That's
not true. You know,
that's awesome.
Mixtapes coming out. No, dude, it's awesome. Like, honestly, I couldn't be more proud. Just to see her be the leader that, you know what I mean, and to help her grow as a human being, leading these girls and showing them the way, you know. And I noticed with her wrestling, it's just gotten better and better. Her scrambles and everything's gotten better. Her attention to details gotten better. So it's awesome. And having her be the breadwinner makes it so much easier for me. You know,
you're just at home taking care of chickens all day,
right? I'm just cooking, you know, wearing my apron. I don't clean up, but I cook.
Well, clearly neither of you changes the dishwasher. I'm just saying,
right?
We established that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's sweet.
You're just at home whipping up all that strip district meats.
Yeah, I still have that.
I had to ask. I was getting there.
What was it? The pecan?
Tomahawk.
The tomahawk.
Oh,
yeah.
Was that bison or wagyu?
Wagyu. Yeah. We still have it. We just I was supposed to cook after my last fight, but then I started fight camp. So I'm like, after this one, we'll cook it.
Nice.
You know, so.
That's the perfect celebration meal, I think.
Yeah.
How good was the bison picanha though?
Oh, dude, that's my favorite.
Everything we've got from there.
Yeah, that is my favorite because just the fat with it, and then I pan sear it, you know, on a skillet. And it just makes it all crispy. Dude, it is so good. It is
making me
so
hungry
good.
literally thinking about it. That place is like a candy store for me. Like you were saying, you love sweets, Karli. Like I've never been a big sweets guy, but like meat, like savory, dude.
I really like.
Yeah,
that's my game.
Yeah, we got somewhat venison.
Yeah, the fillet.
Yeah, that was very good.
I didn't even remember you got that.
That was so good.
Is that the bistro fillet? Is that what it was called? Do you remember?
I'm not sure.
Because I got that venison bistro fillet there one time, and I remember being like, dude.
It was.
Yeah, it was so good.
Because Brad said he doesn't sell a ton of that because most people don't know what it is. So I was like, dude, I'll try it. Why not? And then I told him, like, dude, you need to like start telling people to buy that because it is unreal.
Yeah, and they Brad gave us those sweet rash guards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
It is
How are
so
those
cool.
holding up?
It is. Yeah, I wear it all the time. It's so cool. I can't I gotta wear it when I'm cutting weight. When I'm a little bigger, I don't like rash guards because I'm like a little thicker.
Right.
But when I'm cutting weight, I put it on. I look all bulky. So
That's funny.
It's sweet though. It got like a knife down the back. It's so cool.
Yeah,
it is. So if you guys listening didn't see the Meat Bucks episode, every Meat Bucks winner now also gets a rash guard. And it's the only way you can get this rash guard is if you win the Meat Bucks. Yeah, he's not like selling them or giving them out or anything. So it's like, if you see somebody wearing it, what that means is don't mess with that person. They earned that. It's like a badge of honor for sure. It is. It's a good looking rash guard. Though,
it's sweet,
like their logo, the knife on the back. I'm like, dude, sick.
Yeah,
Brad's a nasty grappler too. He undersells it. He's really good. Super good. He just got his blue belt, but he won. Did he win blue belt or white belt at IBJJF Open in Charlotte? I think.
I think it might have been right before.
I think it was right before you guys blew, but I could also be wrong. Could have been blue.
That's sweet.
But dude, he's super talented. All
Yeah.
those Indio guys, man. Like, really good grapplers
Yeah, they
for
are,
sure.
yeah.
How much, like, it's kind of interesting. Do you guys ever work with Indio at all? They're like their own thing, it feels like.
Yeah, they don't
for
really
sure.
cross train too much.
Just wasn't sure if any of their guys come to Stout ever or anything like that on Saturday.
I sparred with Bridget Chase once.
Okay,
But that was it.
Yeah.
I grappled Hope back in the day when we were kids.
Really?
I did.
Oh, did you sent me a picture? Somebody sent me a picture of you guys. It was you. Wait, what was the podium?
I forget.
Do you know the picture I'm talking about?
I have no idea.
It was either you or Justin
seen
sent it to me. Damn. It was, oh my God.
Is
Now
it the
I
one
guess I
with
can't
Miguel
remember.
and Cameron?
That's
the
it.
one. Yeah.
That's it. Miguel,
Yeah.
Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
I didn't even know. Like, I would have never remembered that I grappled either of them, which is crazy.
That
to
is
think.
nuts.
Like, I would have never remembered that.
It's crazy how ingrained both of you have been in the scene, like
Yeah.
how long you've been a part of this, because you're both young still and like still very much on the front end of your respective careers. But it's crazy. It's like, when did you start? How old were you?
I was 10 years old when
Yeah.
I like kind of got involved.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, not nearly as serious and stuff.
Of course.
But, yeah, I was 10.
But still, being a 10-year-old girl interested in wrestling or like at all is
Yeah.
different, right? Like that immediately had to set you apart.
Yeah.
And you obviously had to grapple with guys, I'm sure, that weren't just
most of the time.
right.
Mhm.
Right. So like, what made you stick with that to start with? Like, what was so appealing about wrestling?
I actually started like training like MMA when I was 10. Like,
wow, you went right in.
Yeah, I didn't just like do
Wow.
jiu-jitsu or do like striking. Like where I went was like they did MMA. Like,
Ready to fight.
They did everything. Yeah. So
That's so insane.
really and what got me into it, like just like out of the gate, was my mom. Actually, she wanted just me and my sister to kind of like learn like how to fight, just to defend ourselves, really, like if a situation ever occurred. And I'm sure she's unhappy about this now, but I just loved it. Like it was just like, yeah, it was like I couldn't get enough. I remember being like 13, 14 years old, and like I trained like 6 days a week. I got up with Nick Brown to high ground jiu-jitsu on Sundays and train and stuff. So
that's nuts.
Yeah, I just like kind of engulfed myself in it since I was young.
That's more than people who are treating it as a career train.
Yeah.
Like honestly, a lot of, I'm sure you guys know, well, I don't need to tell
Yeah.
you. You guys see who comes to the gym and who
Yeah.
doesn't. But like
Yeah.
6 times a week is crazy
Yeah.
at any level, let
Yeah.
alone just like as a hobby.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize like I might actually want to like fight? Was it right away?
It was when I was probably like 12 or 13 is when I started to think like, man, I want to fight. Cause that's when when I was 10 to 12, I trained at a different gym. So it was like, this guy doesn't even coach anymore. He's like a photographer or something now. So that's why I trained there for a couple years, and they did everything, but they didn't have like a lot of fighters.
Mhm.
Then I ended up switching gyms, and I started training where like Nick, Ethan Hayes, Nick Brown, Ethan Hayes, Josh Frem. I don't know. There's a guy, his name's Leland. I forget his last name, but he actually like went away for a while, and he came and he started training again at High Ground. Like Ryan Scuda. Like I don't know if anybody knows.
Didn't that Leland just knock someone out?
Yeah, and Leland
Oh,
just
nice,
knocked somebody out in like 22 seconds. Yeah,
Nice.
he's a wild man.
Wait, is that Buster Scruggs on Instagram?
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly
yeah,
who
got
it
you.
is. Yeah.
He seems, dude, I like that guy. I don't know him at all, and I like him. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like I like this
He's
guy.
a good dude.
Yeah.
He's wild, but
Yeah.
he's a good dude. Yeah, I remember I was a kid. I was like 14 years old, and he was like one of those guys like back in the day, like he was in and out of the gym, like and stuff. But he came back for like this one practice, and he had me and this other girl spar with him, and just he's like, "Please hit me as hard as you can." We're like looking at each other like this guy is nuts. but yeah, so like that's just kind of like I started when I started training there and seeing those guys and like going to the fights, watching them fight and everything. Like I'm like, I want to do this.
That's so sick. For you, Patton, did you start before the academy? Were you interested
Fight
before
Club.
Fight Club? Sorry.
I was interested in high school. I just never got around to it.
Yeah.
It was just putting it off. And then Kama came into my work one day, and my boss said I was tough. And apparently, I'm tough.
How'd the boss know? Was there like
So it's actually my parents' neighbor, Andy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Andy's a character.
Yeah,
Andy's
he
awesome.
is.
But he comes to all my fights still.
Nice.
Him and Megan.
That's so sick.
And he was my boss, and he was just talking crap for real. He just, this kid thinks he's tough. And Kama's like, yeah, why don't you come down to the gym? And I came down, and I got punched in the face a bunch. And it seemed to work out from there, you know.
That's one of the wildest progressions because your average person that happens to, they're not coming back.
I would leave. I would come down early, because I'd go right after work, come down, would bust my nose off, I'd be bleeding on my face, and then I'd train MMA after that, and then I'd be there the very next day for the same thing.
Were they like, is this kid all there? Like,
Yeah,
does he not
they
get
probably
the point?
thought I was. Yeah, they probably thought there was something wrong with me. You know what I mean? But I've seen it plenty of times where that happens to people and they get beat out the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for
Because
sure,
they don't
dude.
have that.
For sure.
And it's funny because I'd call my mom on my way home after. Looking back now, it's funny to me because I'd call my mom on the way home and be like, "Mom, I'm a dog." Like talk all this. I was like, I'm gonna buy you a beach house. I'm gonna do all this, do that, and just the very little that I knew, or the very like, I was not good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
right.
me, I would destroy me in 30 seconds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And just how far I progress is crazy. It's the little, Kama used to always say, like, we're dropping the bucket. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even understand how big the ocean is.
Right.
And I kind of see that more now.
That's great perspective, but especially starting out, do you need to be a little delusional? Like, is there a benefit to that?
I think so, but at the
Yeah.
same time, you need to be checked.
Yeah.
You know, because some of these people, they think they're God's gift to MMA, and they don't understand what it's about yet. They haven't been through struggle. They haven't had a bad injury. They haven't, had a loss or even had like something outside their life happen that doesn't involve MMA that they have to bounce back through mentally, emotionally, and you need that in your life to know that you can do it,
Yeah, for sure, man. What's it feel like for you? Well, you both really, like, you've both done all the things you just said, in and outside the cage, bounce back from. What's it like to kind of be role models now in Pittsburgh? I mean, Patton, personally, like, I talk to a lot of fighters that look up to you, like, whether you know or not. Like, I always hear people reference your career and like you in the gym, and they want to model themselves after you. And Karli, obviously being wrestling coach now and the things you're doing, you're very much entering that role model status as well. Like, what's that feel like for you?
It's cool, for real. I try to just steer him down the right path because I was a knucklehead when I was young. Like, when I was like 20 years old and I was just getting into fighting, I was a wild kid, you know what I mean? Doing whatever, not doing the right things outside the gym. So I kind of just try to steer him in the right path, and I still try to do it from like a brotherly, like, love. Like, I'm still messing with him, you know what I mean? And like, you'll like Craig Perry, dude. I'll mess with him all the time because he's just so like innocent, you know what I mean? But he asked me any question, dude. He can call me any time of the day and I'll help him out, you know what I mean? And give him advice on whatever he needs. Same thing with Jacob Lafette. Anyone, for real. Elijah, any of those dudes, I just want to see them do good, you know what I mean? Because they get better, they make me better. It's like Dave Sachs said to me once, it's like building a pyramid, you know what I mean? You don't just get to the top by demolishing the bottom. You have to raise that bottom up.
I love that.
And then it gets you higher and higher. You know what I mean? So the better they get, the better I get.
Dude, that's definitely the culture in Pittsburgh in general. Like, you can feel it with, I mean, we've talked about you training at Stout Saturdays a lot, and obviously repping the Mat Factory, but also still strong ties to the academy. Like, that right there kind of says it all, right? Every gym's working together to get somewhere bigger than we all currently are, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, we all have the same goal in mind, is to see all of us make it, you know what I mean? No one really wants anyone to no one really hates on each other, you know what I mean? Now, there is like little bit of sparring, you can get it in there a little bit, but it's all love, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'll be in there sparring hard as hell with someone and kind of get angry with each other, and afterwards it's all love.
That's beautiful. I love that. Somebody, I'm not sure who this is, but somebody commented when we were talking about you going back for more whoopings in your early days, and they just said, he's not all there, LOL.
Definitely not.
It's C. Elzer 14.
Oh, that's my cousin.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
It's funny story about my cousins is
Go ahead, put him on blast now. He put you on blast. Now let's
back
get him
in the
back.
day, me and my brother were the youngest of the boy cousins on my mom's side. And back in the day, they used to mess with us, right? And they'd get me to the point where I would freak. They'd like Bobby Boucher. I'm telling you, bro. Like I'm telling you, like
Oh,
and they'd get me so heated that we'd
Oh,
start fighting
no.
and they just beat the crap out of
Oh
me.
my God.
But that's
awesome.
It just it kind of added fuel to the fire of my fighting. You know what I mean?
Dude, our guy that like edits the podcast clips, if you're watching AJ, we need a Bobby Boucher Patton edit on this. That's the edit. Please do that. Gatorade.
Dude, all the time. It used to be because we were the youngest ones, you know what I mean? And you know how it is,
Yeah,
boys
for sure.
growing up.
For sure.
And kind of gave me that like mental edge that like I'm not taking that crap. Like you're not doing this to me.
Do they come to your fights?
Oh yeah.
You think they're telling people I used to whoop his
Oh,
ass?
Corey does, yeah, for sure. Corey, my cousin Corey does. We actually live in his house. We're renting out
nice.
his house. Yeah, he's like a big brother to me. You know what I mean? Love the dude, and one of my biggest supporters. He's come to my fights as an amateur. He drove to Ohio to see me fight. You know what
True
I mean?
dedication right there.
I'd come work him out at the fight club when I used to work there. One of my biggest supporters. Love him. And Steven, he comes. My cousin Steven comes. He's actually former military, and he drives from Cochranton, which
I
is
have
like
no idea where that is.
it's up by Meadville. It's like
Okay.
that's where my
Yeah.
mom. That's where my mom's from. That's where our family's from. It's like a small little town
Gotcha.
up there. There's like a population of like 1,200 maybe.
That's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome up there.
Dude, we there's one more shout out that's just cracking me up here. I'm not sure who this guy is. Main Man Pictures 333, and he just said Northern Maine, say hello, Main Man. Just begging for a shout. So there you go. What's up, Main Man?
What's up,
What's
man,
up,
man?
dude?
What's up?
Let's go. That's
That's
hilarious
awesome.
to me. But talking about your support system, I wanted to get into this, and then we'll get you guys out of here. But you've always brought big crowds with you. Like your whole career, you've had support, but can definitely see that going up and up and up and up. What's it feel like for you, man, just having that support when you go into a fight? You've got literally hundreds of people in the arena behind you.
It's crazy. Isaac talks on it a lot about it's easy to quit on yourself. You know what I mean? It's not, but like when you're fighting for something bigger than you, my family, God, Carly, all the people that support me, my friends who I consider brothers, you know what I mean? It's hard to quit. You know what you're fighting for. So just to see them and all the support that they've given me throughout the years, I've had people like Nick Crankshaw used to drive me to my weigh-ins and my fights when I had 2 fights. You know what I mean? And Alex has come to my fights when I've had 2 fights, and they supported me throughout this whole time. Me, both of them, we kind of fell off for a couple of years, and they still came to my fights, still supported me. You know what I mean? Like it's not like we didn't talk as much. Nick calls me every morning now, but every morning. Is it not like
morning,
it's like on a habitual like 7:30?
Yeah.
It's like, what's up, dude? How you doing?
Just to
today?
say what's up?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, just to say
I
what's
love
up,
that.
check in, make sure I'm doing good. Message me on fight week to make sure I'm doing good. But just like the support is insane. It's just,
man.
and I don't know how, like I try to return it, but it's almost like impossible to like.
It's
You know,
wild.
yeah, and the belief they have makes me believe in myself even more.
Yeah.
You know?
How cool is it? Like, obviously, you've had that core support system, but I mean, I've seen it happen at our last few events where like people that you didn't know would come up and want a picture or want something. Like, what's that feel like for you, knowing that like you're reaching people that you never even knew before now?
Yeah, I had some high school kids come up and want a picture with me, and they tag me and stuff, and I'm like, dude, that's so weird. Like it's so like surreal. Like it's nuts. And it's super cool. I just I like to try to get everyone involved and like try to get them into training or something, because I feel like everyone should do it. You know what I mean? So if they like watching fight, you don't have to fight. Like it's not for everyone. I tell everyone that, but you should at least train and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, you guys want to come down to the Mat Factory? You know, let me choke you out a little bit.
It'd be a great time.
Yeah, right, I promise you, you'll love it.
You'll never come back.
Yeah, right.
One and done on that one
Right.
for sure.
You'll probably get like one of them to keep coming back, but that's all it takes.
Dude, you're exactly right. And the place like the Mat Factory will for sure filter that out. And that's part of the reason why the room is so strong and why everybody there is so good. I mean, you're not like, you can't be half-assing it and survive there. That's all there is to it. You're not.
Isaac doesn't let you.
Exactly.
If you will die.
Yeah.
He'll make sure that we had what's that kid's name that wrestles? Julian.
Oh yeah, Julian.
So Julian is a high school wrestler there, and he wanted a little stuff to like help his next season. You know what I mean? He wants to be a state champ. And
is he at Burl?
yeah,
Okay.
Burl, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So he comes in for Wednesday. We have jiu-jitsu in the morning. So he brings a couple friends in, and they drill a little bit. They do a little conditioning thing, Isaac does. And then Isaac makes him do the conditioning that we're doing afterwards.
Yeah.
Nice.
And Isaac does this thing that he gives you a goal that is almost impossible.
Yeah.
But he wants to see if you're going to quit.
Yeah.
And these kids, you might have seen the picture on Instagram. I put them through like a conditioning thing.
I did see that.
do.
Yeah.
And they're like, they were done.
They look like they got out of a pool, dude.
And they were like smiling. But they were like they were forced smiles, you could tell. But it was awesome. I love to see that because don't quit on yourself. Like I don't care if you're gonna get the goal or not.
They got real close.
Yeah,
that's pretty sick.
And it's just and Isaac brings that out of you. You know,
it's a good sign.
Yeah,
you gotta love that. Jared Billy just dropped in the chat too to say thanks for the picture you gave him after your last fight. So there's one.
Yeah, right. He's a good dude.
He's like we always say, he's a 247 super fan. He's like one of our best supporters, man. Jared Billy's the man.
He's always commenting stuff that really makes me feel good about myself, you know. Like for real. He's always like just the confidence that he has. I mean, it's sweet. It's nuts.
Yeah, no, man. It's cool to see the scene grow and like see those things take place where you can be recognized. Like that's, for me personally, that's the most rewarding part of doing this is like seeing everything grow and get bigger. And it's so obvious. Like our shows, show after show, you can just feel it growing and like seeing the whole scene.
Being recognized. So I'm working for Dave Bargerstock Construction, working on Perry Highway at that Willie's. It got caught on fire.
Yeah.
And we're redoing it. And I had 4 people just from working on the side of the road notice me, yell, pull over, and talk to me about fighting. And he's like, dude, do people out here really know you? I'm like, dude, I'm tri-state famous. I used to tell my mom that all the time, and she would just laugh. And now it's like funny because it's like kind of true.
It's true now, dude. I mean, that's real. Like I said, I mean, I see it at the shows, and I hear, you know, behind the scenes, I hear people talking about you and whatnot as well. I'm like, dude, like there's a tangible momentum happening with Justin Patton. And if you win this fight September 21st, who knows where that might go, man? Like that's
when I do.
There's the mentality. There
when I
there's
do.
your sports psychology 101, kids. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Well, we're honored to have you both, obviously, in the studio, in our cage, and just in the scene in general, man. You guys are the best. Thanks for joining us. September 21st. Where do they get tickets, Patton?
Get them at 247fighting.com. Pick me.
That's what I thought you were going to go that route.
Or get them physically off me. Hit me up Instagram, Facebook, write me mail, whatever you want to do, email, anything. I'll get you tickets. Get them off me. Select my name, please. It's how we feed our chickens.
No better endorsement than that. And
and dogs.
And stay tuned for Karli as well. She's like she said, she wants another fight before the year's over and maybe going pro next spring. So we would love it to be for us. If we can find a woman willing to throw down with her, we'll make it happen. Probably even for a belt. Let's go. So who wants it? Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.